Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Patience, and I decided to come at you guys with a little new one. In this one, I just wanted to showcase a little workload that I put myself under. It's been a while since I had been working on this one, so it wasn't an illustration that I tried to clock in just one day, but I set myself a target and a goal, which was to work on this illustration over a period of days, weeks, and even months if need be. So the idea at this point is just to get an idea of how I wanted my characters to be. Now, I did not necessarily fully plan this, so a lot of what we'll see via this illustration will be a lot of thumbnails. The thumbnails will help me to get an idea of what my next step will be, which is like kind of like laying down a foundation as I pave my way through my escapade, as it were. So as you can see here, I'm trying to fixate my character into a certain position that I hope to commit to in order to start my illustration properly. So I drew my character, and you can see that I'm drawing with a few other instruments alongside. This helps me to kind of get an idea of what my task is going to be, so I know how to tackle it in the near future. Aside from that, what I did was starting on the background, because I know the background for my dance self can be very intimidating, because I'm not accustomed to doing backgrounds my dance self. Not that it's something that I can't do, but it's not something that I've kind of practiced. So I don't have much experience in drawing backgrounds, not as much as I do as to drawing characters and character design and doing 3D illustrations. So that was the reason why I started on the background as soon as I did. So this was the intentional idea, because like I mentioned prior, this is for, or was for, my volume, my graphic novel. And so I needed to come up with a location for my characters, and my obviously I don't have any background drawers for my dance self at the moment, so it was something that I had to do my dance self. Now, I didn't use any or I did not sorry, I did not use any references, so everything that you see in here is drawn straight from my mind, which is why you can see me using a lot of my sub pens, so as to just quickly jot down a few of those blue lines, those sketches that you can see there, just to help me get an idea. Once I get the idea, you can see me going over in my black lines, and because it's my characters and I'm satisfied, I'm relatively I've got a know-how of how I want my character to be at this stage, which is why I went through with the colors. But I guess you could say that I was slightly too confident, because if you saw the final image at the beginning of this recording, my character is positioned slightly differently. But like as I said, when it comes to my characters, I'm a bit more confident with my approach. So I can just go in and kind of like just block them down almost instantly and immediately. Because I was satisfied with that, I decided to implement my second character, which anyone that's familiar with my work would know that it is Jade, Jade Marin. So I just went ahead and implanted her here as well, going through the same steps, the same process, which is drawing on the blue lines, and trying to get an understanding of how this image should be. Now, I'm also my own would it be publisher, and editor. So a lot of these things I have to kind of question myself, like, would it be wise to have my character in this position, and would it be best to have my character in this position, and what may work best for this composition. So these are stuff that I'm also having to learn along my way. I believe it's something that you can never really kind of gain mastery over, but a level of mastery is something that one can most certainly attain, because there can always be better solutions, as it were. And so once I jotted her in, I was very satisfied with the outcome at this stage, which is why I decided to elevate. But the most important was the perspective, and the perspective was something that I needed to get right. At this stage, I was going to draw them with the bicycle that you saw as a rough sketch at the beginning, but I decided to leave that bit out, especially for the story. I decided to make it a little bit more adventurous, and to do that, I figured it would be best to leave out that little instrument, and have it a little bit more interesting, not just for myself but for readers alike. Especially as the graphic novel has its own kind of theme to it. So I wanted to keep kind of strong to that. So this was my process of how I was able to get the background done, and further out into the distance, I used basic level kind of what do you call those, perspective lines, as it were, in order to try and draw down a city in the distance, where you can see the ocean. Before the ocean, there's a little ground turf, and it was there where I wanted to implement my city, and it was there where I realized that there was a few complications, because having a city sit atop ground made it look a bit awkward, if you ask me. So I wanted to kind of like sink it beneath the horizon a little bit, so to add a little bit of curvature to this to the canvas. And I was pretty satisfied with that. One thing that I haven't added yet is the clouds, but this is my process of how I went about drawing the horses and cars. What I did was, as I began and I saw that I was satisfied with this bit, I opened up a new window and I began drawing a bit more. I was a bit more comfortable with the open space that I had, so I could draw a bit more freely. Once I drew the horse and the cart and the people upon it, what I do then is I import it back onto my main canvas. So there's a lot of import and exports going on here, in order for me to reach that quality standard. So as you can see, because sometimes when you're drawing on your main canvas, you can get a little bit confused with perspective and the size of your like this illustration I'm actually drawing now, and the people that go up on it. There's so much information that one has to take in at one time. It's easy to make multiple mistakes, and so I tend to find that one can spend a lot more time on a simple illustration than if one chooses to kind of maneuver in a more kind of user-friendly kind of way. And so said, so done. It helped me a lot. And once I was satisfied with what I did, I imported this little illustration back onto the main canvas, and from there all I had to do was size it and position it and put it into place, and blend it into the background so as to not have it overpower the foreground images. The blobs of green that you can see there are aspects that I aim to work on over time, which will be little forestry plots within my fields, I guess you could call them. And this bit here, the second character, I kind of realized I didn't need, but I did want to populate the scene a little bit just to make it feel a little bit more adventurous and a little bit more kind of real. So populating the scene was very important. What I did plan was to paint this character rather than just block it out with flat colors. So I want to try and get a bit more textures going on to keep a little bit of interest, but to keep the focus on my two main characters, which was key. So that was something that I kept in mind at the beginning, that the two characters, my main characters, were to keep the focus of the attention of the viewer, rather than allowing everything to have its strong focal point, as it were, so as to make it harder for the viewer to, kind of gather in the information at their own time, rather than, just throwing everything at them all at once. So once I was satisfied with the level of detail on the character that I just drew up, that's when I focus a little bit more on the horse and the cart and the characters upon that. You will see that it goes through quite a few changes as I do work upon it. Clip Studio comes with a few very handy tools, which is something that I took advantage of was drawing, and it automatically gives you an outline if you use colors. So if I kind of like just trail my pen across the screen, something that I may try and showcase in one of my future uploads. So if I'm using like a color and I trail my pen across the screen, Clip Studios will automatically give that color an outline, and then if you like cross your lines between each other, so they begin to overlap each other, the outline actually connects and joins. It doesn't like kind of overlap and give you like a weird kind of dysfunctional kind of feature. As you can see, I took my time to draw in a few Tories there, just to make the scene a little bit more interesting. And once again, what I decided to do is draw in another feature that I aim to export onto its own new canvas, so I can implement more detail, so as to import it back onto the main canvas. So this was my process of working on this particular illustration, one that I actually do enjoy working on momentarily, and I can't wait to finish it. So this is the part 1, and I do hope to come up with a part 2 to this illustration as well, which will be obviously the finished version. I use a lot of perspective lines that I use for my own mind. I didn't use any perspective rulers or anything. They can be very advantageous. They can also be very complex to use if you're not too sure with what you're doing. They are actually something that I myself am studying at the moment, but they are quite tricky they can be quite tricky to use, especially if you start using more than one perspective ruler. But as you can see here, after I drew in my little shrine, I kind of blend it into the background the best I can, so as to not have it overpower the foreground elements. After I do that, I go back to focusing on some of the other aspects. So the idea was just implementing a lot of illustrations, first off in a very rough kind of manner, and as I progress I begin to commit more and more to them, each and every single one of the rough sketches, so as to situate them into the masterpiece, so as to allow it to have its own function, its own story, its own element, not just for myself, but like I said, for the viewer. This is for my third volume within my title of Boo Boom Room, which is why it was something that I actually wanted to spend a little bit of time on, just to kind of allow the story to kind of have that kind of punctual and yet informal kind of not necessarily result, but effect, so as to remind us that we are actually in a world, a fictional kind of science fictional world. So that's how that went, and that's how my process were. I enjoyed it a lot. Hope you like what you see. It's your boy Patience. Leave your thumbs, your likes, and your comments down below, guys. Over and out.
Hard work, your boy. Hard work. He puts it